Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Portfolio and RDS Irish Craft Bursary Application Process Information webinar. We have people coming into the room at the moment, so I'll just give a few more seconds while the room is filling up, and then we can start. Okay, well, it's great to see so many new names. This is brilliant. So again, you're very, very welcome. My name is Ciara Garvey, and I am the Development Manager for the Collector and Tourism Programs at DCCI. So this is going to be a short enough information webinar this morning, about half an hour or so. I'm going to be talking about the Portfolio and RDS Irish Craft Bursary initiatives. They are two separate programs, but they are interlinked. In order to be eligible for the bursary, you have to firstly successfully apply for Portfolio. So I'm going to be talking about what those two programs are, what are they about, and how do you apply, and afterwards we'll have time for any questions that you may have. So I'm joined here today by my colleague Mary Dunn, and she will be able to collate any questions that you might have over the course of this session, and even after the session, after today, if you have any other queries about anything that's mentioned today, or if you have any technical issues, please feel free to get in touch with myself or Mary anytime you want. So we'll get started now. You may have come across our website already, our Portfolio Hub, up on the DCCI website. And for any of you who are familiar with how we've done the portfolio call out in previous years, you can see that we're highlighting the program in a much more prominent way than we've done in previous years. So we're using design and digital aspects much in the same way that we're using them for some of our other programs, like the Made Local campaign, which some of you might be familiar with. So it's a significant refresh as to how we're doing things. And what we really want to get across here is the idea that Portfolio is all about contemporary and design-led craft of the highest quality, and the makers who create that work. So work that gets selected for it and is featured in the program is work that's relevant to a gallery-led market. It's work that collectors want to acquire. It's suitable for museum collections or for curators who want to access or commission work for exhibitions. By and large, the work that's featured is one-off work and one-off pieces, and some are limited editions, and they cover all aspects of contemporary craft practice. The more prominent ones would generally be ceramics, glass, furniture, and woodwork. But over the years, less prominent ones like stone or marquetry have also featured in the program. So within the webpage, we're trying to communicate the highlights and the benefits of being in the program. And this includes some of the ongoing partner programs that Portfolio works with as well. So, for example, we have a strong ongoing relationship with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. We have a collection with them known as the International Collection of Irish Design and Craft. And this is a jointly funded initiative between ourselves and the department. And it's a modest fund, but it looks at acquiring really high-end crafts for the embassy and consulate network. And the Portfolio program is used for this every year. And some incredible pieces have been purchased for this initiative. In this image here, the image on the right is an interior architect's mock-up, and they used this image that we had sent in of Joe Hogan baskets to mock up what they wanted this space to look like. And the space in question was the Irish mission in the UN in New York. So that was one of the purchases through Portfolio for the DFAT collection last last year, and these pieces are now there in New York. So this is another example of a purchase from last year, these beautiful wood-turned vessels from Alan Meredith, who were purchased for the Helsinki embassy, or the Irish embassy in Helsinki. So as well as really adding to the quality of the interior of any space, it's a brilliant boost and benefit for makers to know that their work is in a prestigious setting such as this. Another partnership that we have in place, and one that Portfolio is used very prominently for, is the Contemporary Collection of Design and Craft. So this is another joint initiative that we have with the National Museum of Ireland. This was established in 2003. Its aim is to collect contemporary high quality work from Ireland's leading designer makers in order for the National Museum of Ireland to preserve the antiques of the future. So every year we work with the museum curators in the Decorative Arts division to suggest and select work for the permanent collection. And a lot and most of the work that is suggested for this is work that's coming through in the Portfolio program. And all of the work that has been purchased over the years is on view in the Decorative Arts collection in Collins Barracks, either in dedicated exhibition spaces or in their visible storage units, which are there on site. So on a reputational level, this is something really fantastic for makers to know that your work is going to be in the museum forever for future generations to enjoy. And makers have said that gives them a really wonderful sense of achievement and accomplishment. Another partnership and relationship that we've been developing over the last few years is with the Michelangelo Foundation. So this is an international non-profit foundation based in Geneva. And it was set up to celebrate and preserve master craftsmanship and strengthen its connection to the world of design. And their tagline is the foundation for creativity and craftsmanship. And as part of their work, they created the Homo Faber exhibition in 2018. And this was an incredible event. There were 18 pavilions dedicated to various craft aspects. And one of them was called The Best in Europe. And this was an exhibition dedicated to the very best of European craftsmanship from all countries within Europe. And early in 2018, the curators came over to Ireland to look for makers for this exhibition. And they used the Portfolio program by coming to us and using the website and our knowledge of the makers and the presentations that we gave on the makers. And from the overall program, they shortlisted it to 28 or so makers. And from that, 8 makers were selected to be in this exhibition. So out of all of the makers in the exhibition, I think there was 150 or so, but 8 were from Ireland and selected through the Portfolio program, which was a wonderful achievement and a wonderful event. So here's some pictures from the Best in Europe exhibition. There's a piece by Nuala O'Donovan in this picture, and here's Cara Murphy here on the right with her pieces. And there's also beautiful Pâte de Verre glasswork from Alison Lowry in the image there on the left. So how do we present work from the makers through the program? So we currently have a website, which some of you may know of, and we also have an Instagram account. And both of these aspects are ones that we plan on developing more. So our ambition is to raise the online profile of Portfolio and ensure that we reach a relevant global audience with our offering. And we plan on doing that in a number of ways. So by raising the presence of Portfolio on the DCCI website, and also by highlighting work and makers through the DCCI and portfolio Instagram accounts. And another aspect that we're planning on developing more is having more proactive engagement from makers as well. So more of a community aspect in the same way that we've had with the Made Local campaign, whereby the makers within the initiative will be highlighting the programme as well through their own channels. And another way we connect and present work is by bringing galleries to and gallerists to exhibitions, and even arranging studio visits. And this is something that we really want to build on. Physical studio visits are obviously more challenging for the next while, but the virtual space is one which is becoming more acceptable. So we intend on building on that to try and make more meaningful connections for makers. And a really good current example of how this works is with Cecilia Moore, who some of you might know. She's a fantastic metalsmith maker, and she makes beautiful work. And she's relatively new to the portfolio program, joining in 2017. So she makes these beautiful gestural, playful pieces using traditional silversmithing techniques of raising and patination. And so back in 2019, we invited a gallery from the UK over to Dublin when we had the portfolio Surface Matters critical selection exhibition. They really loved a lot of the work and specifically fell in love with Cecilia's work. And over a year or so, they were keeping an eye on her, asking more about her, looking for more information. But this was all unknown to Cecilia. She didn't know that the gallery were interested. And then in the middle of last year, they invited her to show with them at Collect this year. So obviously, there was challenges with the physicality of being at Collect and all the rest, but it still has had a very great profile digitally online. And as well as being with the gallery at Collect, Cecilia's work has also been invited to show at another exhibition, which is happening at the same time in London with the same gallery and 4 other galleries as well, called Crafting a Difference. And this has also had a present at Collect. And this Crafting a Difference exhibition is supported by the Michelangelo Foundation and also the Loewe Foundation. So, you know, it's a fantastic new step for Cecilia, and one which the portfolio program brought about. And that would be our ambition for all makers. We're really trying to make the right connections for them and link people in to the right audiences. So that's why we're making the portfolio program a membership program from 2021 to 2022. And from now on, it will be a 2-year program, because the audiences that we're trying to connect with, for them to see work that is current and relevant, that is crucial for us to be able to show that to them. So it's essential for us now that the work that we're showing through our channels is up to date. So what are the benefits for makers for being in the program? Well, one of the most fantastic opportunities is the RDS Irish Craft Bursary. So this opportunity started a few years ago when the RDS restructured its annual craft exhibition and award and developed a number of new bursaries, predominantly for emerging makers, which is in line with its strategy of supporting emerging arts. But they also included a bursary which is for established makers. So this is a bursary worth €10,000, and it may be used for a wide variety of career and professional development activities, such as further education and training, research, development of new work, mentoring, purchase of equipment, studio improvements, technology, websites, and residency. So you can see it's obviously very, very broad, and the planned activity must be taking place, you know, in the year that it's on the following year. So in this case, it's this year, but we will be we will be allowing for work to spill on into the next year if necessary. So the first winner that we had for the RDS Irish Craft Bursary back in 2019 was glass artist Edmund Byrne. So he used his bursary to collaborate with metalsmith Adi Tok. They're both based in the UK now. So their aim was to establish a collaborative interdisciplinary practice exploring the synergies between glass and metals in order to discover a new visual language of glassmaking and metalworking. So for Edmund, the bursary gave him the opportunity to collaborate with Adi and for them to experiment and take creative risks. And the work that they developed, while it was still in process and in test form, was actually selected for Collect Open last year. And then they subsequently produced a fully resolved set of vessels and object and launched it at Collect. And they had some great achievements from being there, as well as having a great response to their work. They also made some wonderful sales, including this piece, which was acquired by the V&A Museum, and another one of their vessel forms was acquired by the Ulster Museum in Belfast. So it was a brilliant achievement all around. We had another winner last year, Selena Coyle, who is a fantastic jewellery designer and educator based in Derry. And with her bursary, she wanted to use it to create a series of contemporary icons inspired by and dedicated to women. So it's really looking at highlighting and celebrating women's stories and achievements, and not just well-known figures, but also people who history has overlooked or maybe forgotten. In particular, one of her areas of interest is the role of women in the 1916 Rising. So the images, excuse me, the images in the slide here, Annie Lennox on the left, Louise Bourgeois in the middle, and Rosie Hackett there on the right. So the bursary gave Selena time to think and research, and she also used the opportunity to purchase equipment, and I think she used some of the bursary to buy a specialized printer for her making process for this. So she also wanted to travel as part of her research, and unfortunately with COVID that was curtailed, but she's nevertheless has produced an extraordinary body of work, and you can see more of her work on her website. Her ambition would be to display 100 of these icons all in one in exhibition. So obviously that's quite challenging at the moment, but hopefully down the line we will see this. So in order, so another benefit for portfolio makers is mentoring. So portfolio members will be able to avail of specialist bespoke mentoring and skills development sessions, either on one-to-one basis or in small groups. And these will be delivered by expert mentors in line with each maker's agreed development needs, identified by the judging panel through the selection process. So in the judging process of the applications, we're going to be looking at ways that we can identify needs for our makers on how we can work with them through a mentoring program to improve various aspects of their craft practice. So this could be anything from the artistic side and artistic development, maybe looking at collaborative, how to proactively collaborate, to more business focused needs like marketing or even digital aspects. So we already have a great expert panel in place, and we're also working on a fantastic peer mentoring aspect to our program too as well. And again, the peer mentoring will also be either in one-to-one or in group sessions as well. Another benefit that we're offering portfolio members for this year, next year, will be packaging and branding. So this will be a way of, for makers to identify with the program. They can have packaging that they can use when they're sending out work that they're selling, and also maybe to have in their own studios. So this is a way to show potential buyers or collectors that you have been selected for this program in this particular point in time within the 2021 to 2022 year part of the program. So another benefit is that all applicants are automatically considered for the critical selection, publication and exhibition series. So the critical selection is work that is seen as excellent by comparative international standards. And we will be once again producing an online and a printed volume of the critical selection. And we'll also be having a virtual launch and a virtual exhibition platform for this, which will coincide with a physical exhibition, which is due to open in Cork in August. We're still working on our dates for that. And after Cork, the exhibition will travel to Geneva. So the Michelangelo Foundation have a new gallery in Geneva, and they have invited the critical selection to show there later on this year. So again, some of this is quite COVID related dependent, but we plan to bring the exhibition there when we can, and so this is a terrific opportunity again for everybody. So within the so for the application process for both the portfolio program and for the RDS Irish Craft Bursary, I'm going to go onto the website now to have a look at them, but the deadline for both of them is Friday, the 9th of April. So I'm just going to hopefully, yes, great, it's coming up now. So we have our, on the website, we have the page that I was just showing you there. So this is our portfolio page, portfolio hub, and down at the bottom of the page we have our 2 application forms. So to access the portfolio form, you click into this box, and we have our criterion for entry on the this part here. So the main thing is that we are going to be looking at the digital images. So this is quite, this is a new thing, and it's not a new thing that we would have chosen if, but if circumstances were different, we would go with the way that we have normally done it. So the way we have normally done it is that our panel get to physically see work and look at the work and make their decisions based on physical actual work that they have seen. But we can't do it like that this time round. So that's why we're asking for digital images, and it's going to be predominantly based on digital images. So this is a really, really important aspect for the portfolio side of the application, that you really have to try and give the best quality ones which best represent your work. And we're saying, when we're saying current work, we're saying within the last 2 years. So that does give people some room, that even before the pandemic last year, hopefully you will have had work that has been photographed and photographed well, because this is how the panel are going to be making a lot of their decision. A lot of their decision will be based on the work that is submitted. But within the criterion itself, please keep in mind these aspects, because this is what the panel will be going through each application on. So they will be looking and judging on the standard of craftsmanship, design, innovation and creative quality in the work submitted, as well as the digital image quality. They will also be looking at your CV and what your exhibition record is. And they also want to see that in the images that you submit, that this really displays a cohesive body of work. So they always talk about the signature of the maker. Like if you're submitting 3 different works, does it show, is there a cohesiveness in what you're doing and what you're trying to say and what you're trying to achieve with your work. So again, in the case of the critical selection, the panel will be looking at your work and measuring that against comparative international standards. So is that something that they could see, you know, in an international exhibition? And if so, they'll consider that for the critical selection. So I'm just going to click into the bursary, or sorry, I'm going to click into the portfolio form physically itself. So it's through Cognito. It is quite straightforward. It's long enough, but it's basically your 3 images, your 3 good quality images with as much information as you can give us on that. We also have our terms and conditions at the start. So to be eligible for this or for the bursary, you need to be registered with us. So if you're not, you can click into this link here and see how you can register. We also ask for we do an economic client survey every year. So so for all our programs, we ask people to agree that if we ask you for information on this, you will supply it for us. And the reason we ask for this is because this is a really great way for us to know what the economic situation is like for our clients, and so that we can understand what the realities are for them more. And this will help us address future programs that we're going to be doing. So we also ask that the information that you supply is up to date, and that's a big part of it, and that you can use the images, and so can we, so that these are images that we can use across all our platforms. So as well as your images, you can we're giving this option here because we've noticed that this is something that more and more people are doing, but you don't have to. But it's a good idea. Some people have found that even using their own phones and making a 360 short video on their phone can give a really good idea and explain their picture or explain their work in more depth, you know, more than a picture can do. Again, it's not absolutely necessary, and in a lot of cases the images are going to be perfectly fine, but if you want to, you are welcome to supply video footage as well. Again, with the images that are being submitted, these will be used for the website and for the Instagram. But when we're going to the publication for the critical selection, we may look at rephotographing work. So we're asking people, if you are selected for that, let us know. Do you want to keep the photography that you have supplied because you feel that best represents your work, or do you want us to look into photographing it again? Because we do that for our publications. For every edition, we would commission a photographer if a maker hasn't already supplied professional images that they want to use for the publication. So a CV and a statement on your work. And also, if you see down the bottom here, we have this save button. So this is save and resume. So if you want, you can do a bit and save it. Once you save this, you're asked for your email. You put in your email, and it means that a link is sent to you. So then you can click into the link at another stage when you're ready to continue on again. So that's the portfolio application form. So I'm going to just click into the bursary as well. So if you go back onto the main page, the bursary button is down here. So you click into it there, and again, sorry, I'm trying to pull it up here. So I've gone through some of the information already regarding previous winners and what you are required, what you are required, or what the bursary allows people to apply for. But the big thing, while images was the big thing, one of the bigger things with the portfolio applications, one of the big things with the bursary application and what the judges are really looking for is the proposal. You know, the proposal is so important for the judges, because they want to see what your big idea is. What is it that you want to do, and how are you going to do it? So that's really, really important. As we also look for a budget breakdown. So this is €10,000. It's a lot of money. So the judges want to see that you have thought through how it's going to be used. So digital images of current work practices are good to get a good overview of what it is that you're doing now, but it's obviously not necessary and not possible to have images of what your bursary will do, because it hasn't been done yet, and the CV. So in terms of how the application is processed or judged, we have these 6 different areas. So the quality of proposal, the evidence of your artistic ambition, the challenge of the proposal, the judge's confidence in the ability of the maker to realize their proposal based on your track record, the judge's confidence in the ability to realize your proposal based on your financial breakdown, and evidence of how the proposal may develop your skills and career, and also the potential of how the proposal will be of benefit to Irish craft and design on an overall level. So these 6 areas are marked out of 10. So every applicant is going to have their application broken down into these 6 areas, and you will be marked out of 10 in each of them. So whoever gets the highest score will ultimately be the winner. So when you're making your application for this, keep these six categories in mind, because that's what the judges are going to be going through one by one. So I'm just going to pop out here. Okay, so those are the 2 application forms, and our judges are these people here. These 4 people are judging for the portfolio and for the bursary. For the bursary judging, we'll also be joined by a representative for the RDS, but we presume, we know it would probably be the same person who did it. We hope it will be the same person who did it the last 2 years, but we just have to finalize that. But these 4 people are certain for our portfolio judging, and they're Jean Blanchard, who is quite very connected to the Michelangelo Foundation. He's a gallery owner himself. He's run a gallery in Milan for the last 30 years. It's actually his family gallery. It's been in the family for generations, and they specialize in glass, ceramics, enamel and contemporary materials. So he's also a member of the curatorial committee of Venice Glass Week, and he will be curating the next another pavilion in the next Homo Faber, which was due to take place last year, but is hopefully taking place this September coming. Juliana Cavaliero and Deborah Finn are the owners of Cavaliero Finn Gallery in London. They have a wonderful repertoire of makers and fine artists in their London gallery. They're really connected to the gallery fairs as well. They've just finished Collect, as I mentioned earlier, in reference to Cecilia Moore, but also in January they had a very good session at the London Art Fair as well, and this is something that they're continuing to build on and work on. And Alice Story Lichtenstein is a writer, design critic and curator, and she's the founder of Schloss Hollenegg for Design. So this is an international project based in Austria, which supports design culture by offering an exhibition platform and residency program to young emerging designers. And she recently virtually curated an exhibition which is on at an excellent gallery in New York called Breedman Fenda, and it's a really remarkable exhibition. Again, I've, you know, just looking at the images, it's really, really well put together and so interesting. And we've actually appointed her as the curator for the critical selection exhibition as well. So we will be working with her on the program when we're going towards the exhibition and the exhibition stage for critical selection as well. So those are our judges, and so that's essentially it. So I wonder if there's any questions that anyone has.
There's a few questions in, Ciara.
Great, yeah.
Okay, so the first question is, can a semi-professional member enter or apply, or is it solely exclusively to full membership, full professional?
I see that question coming in from Gabriel. Thanks for that, Gabriel. No, semi-professionals can, as long as you're registered with us. So our registration is open to professional and semi-professionals. So, you know, if you've, whichever you've received, you know, that, whichever you've applied under, and if that has been passed, then that's fine too, so.
Okay, and there's a couple of questions in from Orla Kaminska.
Okay.
So her first question is, if the website is not up to date on time for application, can pages be uploaded to show recent works other than the 3 images required to submit for application?
Orla, could you, if for website, I suppose your website doesn't really matter as much. It's if you send in images and they're standalone images, that will work for your 3 images. Your own website is more of is a reference as part of your overall application. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and she's also asked, is there a place to upload other work from the body to back up the images?
Well, I mean, it can be part of your it can be part of your CV, say, but it depends how many. I guess if you wanted to, if we could have a chat about it after, if you wanted, because I know some people have asked before about sending in extra images about you know, their work. They might have photographed it from various angles, you know, so, you know, one piece might have 5 photos, but they might have 3 or 4 images, so that's 20 photos. So yes, I mean, if you do want to give us 3, and then you could separately send in a Dropbox of images, we could include it there. That wouldn't be a problem at all.
And Orla has also asked, can a video about the work be uploaded as well as the 3 images of work, or is it too much information?
Yeah, no, Orla, we would really like to see the video. That's a great idea. I think I know your work, Orla, so I think that would make a lot of sense, you know, because you know, we had a competition last year. I don't know if you came across it, the National Museum of Ireland COVID Commission, and several makers did send in video, and they'd made it themselves, but it did give a really good overview of what the piece was about. And I know some of your work is quite large, Orla, so you know, you might, I guess that's something that could come across more in video than in you know, than in image alone. So yes, please do. We've put in on the application form, we have two parts, you know, 2 sections for two editions of video, but you can send in more, like to myself or Mary, like that is fine, but we don't want to make people feel obliged to send in video either. So it's definitely there as an option. So that would be great.
Fiona Harrington has asked, is it okay to include 3 images from one collection of work, meaning there's a striking similarity between all the work examples?
Yeah, Fiona, like that would be, you know, that really is what the judges are looking for. Like 3 images from one collection will show a cohesiveness, you know, so they want to see your signature. And if it's work that you're working within a certain theme, you know, that makes a lot of sense, definitely. So please do.
And then Emer Roberts has asked, how many words would you recommend, or how many are required for the statement of work?
So we don't say Emer because, you know, a lot of the time, you know, sometimes makers just don't like writing and some absolutely love writing, but a coherent statement, whether it's 50 words or 300 words, that is totally fine, but we just want to hear something about why you're doing what you're doing, and is there something there that you're trying to achieve. But we don't want to put a minimum or a maximum limit on it. Like, we don't want to put people off, but we and the judges do want to hear something. I mean, we have to keep in mind, you know, for judges, especially, you know, an international panel like this, they may not be aware of people's work. It might be their first time coming across it, especially because it's all digitally, and especially because they can't physically see and touch and hold your work. So to have words which explain that is really, really helpful. So yeah, we don't want to put a limit on it, but we do want a good explanation. So yeah, I won't give a word count for that.
Okay. I think that's all the questions, Ciara. There's just a few thank yous in there to say thank you, and it was very well explained, and thank you for your time. So
great. Well, thanks everybody for coming. So we have all of your email addresses anyway, but if you have any more questions for myself or Mary, please get in touch, and the best of luck with your applications.
thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody. Bye.